Hey everybody, it's me, Edward Jones, back with a new video. Common sense gun violence. I came up with this. I came up with this term as kind of crazy as it sounds. I came up with this term as a response to the constant use of common sense gun reform, common sense gun safety, common sense gun control, common sense gun regulation. Because generally, whenever common sense is being used, it's going to be followed with some BS. Because generally, when those kind of phrases are used, it's really followed up with come up with policies that are not going to actually have an effect on criminals. So I figure, well, why not come up with a new term to counteract that? So whenever someone says, we need to have common sense gun reform, I say, no, we need to have common sense gun violence. What that just basically means is you're recognizing the fact that violent encounters happen. Violence is a part of our society. It's a part of any society, to be quite frank. But it definitely it's something that's brought up constantly about American society. Like how violent those Americans are. It's like, yeah, well, we got violent people all over the world. We're not special. We just have we have a more varied way of dealing with it. In the sense that, the public, generally speaking, the public has access to defensive tools, maybe firearms, knives, maybe in some instances brass knuckles, or battle songs or blackjacks, things like that. People can use tools of defense to protect themselves from predators that are out and about. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with coming to terms with the fact that, hey, if there are violent people out there, then maybe I should learn how to respond to those kind of encounters. That's why I'm a big proponent of situational awareness. I think it's a great idea to know what's going on around you, to not be so, be glued to your phone or not paying attention to what's going on around you, that way, to where you actually become easy prey. You become a target. Predators are always looking for easy prey. They're not trying to deal with someone who seems to be capable of fighting back, or who seems to be on the alert. I saw a video just a few days ago. It was a carjacking video in Pennsylvania. There's a guy pumping gas, and there was this teenager in all black, a black hoodie, black pants, and he walked past the guy. This guy's car, it's like his car's pointing. His car's pointing away from it's pointing away from where the teenager's walking, and he's not watching what's going around him. So the teenager walks and turns into the pump that's behind the guy. While he's doing that turn, it's perfectly timed. Another teenager walks up to the driver, and as he gets closer, the first guy comes up behind the driver and puts him in a chokehold, and then a third guy, so they're all working in this group, runs up and starts pummeling the driver, and they start punching him in the face. He falls down. He throws his car keys away, and he tries to basically kind of crawl away from what's going on, try to crawl to safety. They grab his car keys and they take off in his car. So it shows that if there's because there seems to be a rise in carjackings. They basically mapped out they did scouting, and they found someone who seemed to be an easy target. Even if the one guy approached, and he was able to pay attention to that, he could have prepared himself, but he wasn't paying attention. He wasn't on his phone, but he just wasn't looking. He wasn't looking around. He wasn't scanning the area while he was pumping gas. And I tend to, and a lot of times I've had to pump gas whenever I work late nights, out in the middle, pretty far from where I live. Aside from, along with carrying a pistol, I'm also just looking around to see what's going on around me. And there's another thing. So along with situational awareness, carrying a defensive tool, whether it be a pistol, like I said, knife, what have you. Firearms tend to be the most effective ones that we have in our current era. And so I think it's great for people to learn how to use a pistol, learn the laws in your area, what counts as a defensive use. So I know some places have duty to retreat, which sucks, but that's how their laws are in certain areas. But see if those are the kind of laws you have. Many other places have stand your ground, which I do support. Castle doctrine is also a big thing. If you're home. So I think it's good for people to be aware of the fact that, hey, listen, violent encounters happen. It's just part of human nature. That's just a part of ourselves. But you don't have to be easy prey. So I think I think common sense violence is actually, or common sense gun violence is something that can be an effective phrase, an effective rebuttal to common sense gun reform. But please tell me what you think. Do you think it's a good idea? You think it's silly? I love to read everyone's comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you want to help out with the channel, go to my YouTube homepage. Look for the give up that cheese button. It'll take you to PayPal. Any donation amount you leave is appreciated. And also, if you leave anything, I'll make sure to shout you out in my next video. Any gripes, complaints, send me a PM. I'll see if I can address them. Also, I'm gonna include a link to a subreddit that I subscribe to. It's called r/DGU, Defensive Gun Use, and basically it's like a catalog of daily occurrences of people using firearms to defend themselves. Sometimes knives, but usually it's it's usually a homeowner or someone who's out and about, and hey, they get met, and a predator approaches them, and they're able to take care of the situation. But that's my video. Defense, common sense, gun violence. I'm Edward Jones. You guys take care, be safe, stay strapped, and God bless.